Welcome to the edition of the Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Ernest EJ Christian, coming to you down here in South Florida. On the line with me, of course, is number one, Mike Squid Bernier. Michael, what's up?
Us,
me,
you, me, I don't know.
All of us?
Cav4.
Are you ready for Christmas?
Merry Chrysler.
Merry Chrysler. I like that. And, of course, the real Joe Lopez, who's on Twitter at... Oh, wait, no. Joe, what's up, man?
Nothing, what's up?
Nothing much, man, nothing much. I don't have any newsworthy topics here for the week. I don't think nothing happened this week newsworthy, honestly.
NXT Smashbox, the ratings war.
Yeah, but are we surprised? Honestly, we're not.
No.
We called this 2 weeks ago. You said it, I said it. That because we knew the main event, or at least the landscape or the foundation, what was going to happen 2 weeks out, we knew their shows would be great.
Well, I also didn't hope that AEW countered with dog shit.
We're gonna get there in a second. We're gonna get there because, as you know, the format of this podcast, of course, is us three, take three. We bring in the topic each of the week. We debate it, dissect it for 15 minutes or less. And so we're gonna do that, of course. And my topic out the gate. We'll start with mine real quick because my topic out the gate kind of covers AEW. It does cover AEW rather, and what I think, or I guess we think, how to fix AEW for 2020. Now, I'm not saying AEW is on the way down. AEW has some broken. Well, it has its issues. I mean, it's really good. I enjoy the show. I watch every Wednesday religiously. Not a problem. There's really good things about AEW, but there's some really things I'm starting to see now that's a little bit potentially problematic. And that's early. It's like, again, it's still early. But here's the thing. So here's my couple of things I want to talk about AEW that I think needs to be fixed in 2020. Number one, MJF needs to be on TV every single week. Period. You need to start putting your stars in the same way that Jericho is out there every week, which needs to happen, of course. MJF is probably your brightest star moving forward, your future of your franchise, and he needs to be on TV every single week. The fact he's not on TV every week is a problem.
He's not Le Champion.
I understand that, but you need to put your stars out every week. Your best players out there every week. I understand what they're doing to put guys over and all that. You want to get everybody a spot, but again, you can correct that by changing a little bit the format of your product again. One of the problems I have with AEW, for example, is some of the matches go way too long. They don't have to be. So you can cut in some of that. Create more TV time for MGF, other guys, by shortening some of the matches that don't need to happen. I'm not saying you have to have a squash match like you saw with Awesome Kong this week, but I'm saying that you at least your best guys, your best promo guys, the guys that get the most heat or most pop, needs to be on TV now. We're now 3 months into this experiment. Now you have to know now who your main guys are, and they need to be out there every single week. The fact of the matter is, and I'm mentioning MGF also too. There's other guys too. Private Party got some pop this week, earlier when Dynamite started, and they've been on TV for almost a month now.
Vodka cranberry.
Well, they've been on TV in 3 weeks. Oh, it's not longer. I mean, that's a problem for me. That's a problem. You need your best guys on TV.
There's a lot of guys that fit in that what you're saying right now that are just not out there every single week and probably should be.
Mm-hmm.
There's Darby Allin fits in there. Yep. I feel like Kip Sabian. Like, where is he?
Bad.
Right, no, but like, where is he? Like, where is he every week?
He was in a tag match this week on the show.
Where was he the week before?
Who, Darby Allin?
Darby Allin
was on TV this week, then he was gone for the last 2 weeks.
Right.
No,
right.
I was talking about Superbad.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think keep going with your list. I do have thoughts on the whole thing, but like, I'm curious.
Okay. Yeah. The whole Young Bucks Omega putting guys over, it's got to stop now. I understood it was necessary at the time, early on, because you want to develop stars, but it's time to stop because
I have a counter to that.
Huh?
I have a counter to that, but I'll let you finish your
thought
process.
My thing is this, and I have to kind of give Jim Cornette here credit here for this because I was listening to this podcast over the weekend, and Cornette's very very you know how Cornette is full of opinions. Some of them I love, some of them I hate. You know how it is, but he made a point here that I think really took this point home here. We, outside of true wrestling diehards like ourselves, the casual wrestling fan really don't really know who Kenny Omega is or Young Bucks are. Okay?
Yes.
So it's not like they're star. They're not Roman Reigns. They're not Seth Rollins. You know what I'm saying? So if we're being told, like someone like me who came back in for 17 years, is being told Kenny Omega is arguably the best wrestler in the entire industry that we don't know about, right? And yet, for the last 12 weeks, all I get is him putting guys over, losing matches here, this and that. Does that kind of diminish his credibility to some degree? Not saying he's not good enough, but more so the fact that, okay, you're saying he's great, but then like he's not being used as somebody who's great. And again, I get the fact that you want to put guys over, but that's got to stop at some point. And that goes for Young Bucks as well too.
I think that situation in particular is a real catch-22. Which, by the way, great book. Everyone should go read it this holiday season.
Okay.
I think here's the problem, right? Because you are making 100% a point that I agree with. I do think that you're right, that a lot of the audience watching Dynamite, watching AEW for the first time, that aren't hardcore fans, that haven't been watching the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega since like their Pro Wrestling Guerrilla days, or you know, when they were in ROH or even in Japan, like if you're not like those of us who have been watching these guys since like the late noughts or whatever you call the 2000s,
the aughts.
Like you don't necessarily know how great they are, and you're right. Like if you're hearing about them for the first time and you have the announcers telling you Kenny Omega is the best wrestler in the world, but all he does is pretty much lose every time you see him, like you're not getting far with that. But I think here's the other problem. Well, twofold. I think the problem is, number one, if these guys were winning all the time, you would then have people, and unfortunately, fans like us, who would be saying like, "Oh, well, they're only putting themselves over all the time because they're the executives." It's just like Kevin Nash.
And I think
it's like Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan back in the day.
Right, I was just gonna say that they were trying to avoid doing what WCW did back in the day, where yeah.
And part of the problem too is though, like you also don't want to book it so that like they're you don't want that 50-50 booking. You don't want it where they're winning half the time and losing half the time. Mm-hmm. So you're trying to do one or the other, and you're also trying to not look like you're only putting yourself over because you're the executives, but then you're also making yourself kind of look crappy to all the people that don't know you. It's a catch-22. It's really like out of the gate, they had themselves in a corner.
And I see the Bucks doing more than anybody else. The Bucks, putting over probably party in that tournament early in the year, which is cool in the onset. But then I'm like, okay, so when's it stop now? Okay, you guys think yourselves too. You guys are legends apparently. So show me that.
I think that the biggest problem with that is, unfortunately, you're going to have a large part of the audience, the smart marks, as it were, who are going to turn around and instantly be like, oh, well, they're only winning because they're executives and stuff. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but it's there. It's always going to be there.
Well, maybe this week off this week, they'll change that. Maybe you can use a week off and work on creative for 2020. I don't know.
Hopefully.
All right, my counterpoint.
Go ahead.
Joe, what was the greatest Kenny Omega character of all time? The Chase.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt?
The Chase.
Oh, yes.
Him trying to win the IWGP Heavyweight title.
Yes, it was.
And failing.
Yeah.
That is the cleaner. That is Kenny Omega. So what are they trying to tee off on? The Chase.
Right.
He struggles out the gate. He claws. He fights. He kicks everybody's ass.
Right.
The Kenny Omega of 2017 to 2019 of New Japan Pro Wrestling is what they're trying to bottle up and sell to the industry right now. The problem is, on a mainstream level, me and you know about 2017 to 2019 Kenny Omega. Ernest doesn't know anything about it.
Right. And part
at the end of the day, like
part of it to your point too that you're making right now, Mike. It's also a lot easier to be considered the best wrestler in the world. And don't get me wrong, I think Kenny Omega is incredible. I think he's given us amazing matches. And anytime him and Okada stepped in the ring together, Anytime
Gold.
him and Ishii, it was gold, right? But here's the thing, right? He basically had to have one pretty amazing match about once a month in New Japan.
Correct.
He's now on TV every single week. Like when people were talking about Kenny Omega, the best wrestler in the world, they weren't talking about, 8-man tag Bullet Club matches. They were talking about him versus Okada. They were talking about him versus Ishii. They were talking about him versus Tanahashi, the big matches. And right now, you're not getting the big matches out of Omega. You're getting him in tag matches on Dynamite or Dark or, So it is a lot harder to be, quote unquote, the best wrestler in the world when you're actually out there every single week. And, the resume that people have to judge you against is a lot bigger than when you were just wrestling one big match a month,
Right. Well, go ahead.
I'm of the mindset now that their biggest mistake was they painted themselves into a corner from the very beginning. Kenny Omega should not have fought Chris Jericho to be the number one contender. He should have stayed away from the title picture. The Young Bucks should not have put themselves in the tag team tournament. I get putting Private Party over works, but they should have been getting ready for their match, and that's when Ortiz and Santana should have jumped them.
Right.
So Private Party wins by fucking forfeit. You keep them away from the fucking title picture.
That's actually a good idea.
Them being able to fight and win matches. Now, yes, the Bucks and Powerful, whatever the hell they want to call. I'm going to call them LAX because that's what I know them as.
Can we just start calling them chopped cheese because they're just from the Bronx? Right.
I will say though, Mike. I will say though, real quick, on your point, I agree with you on what you said about what they shouldn't have done. Although I will agree too that the Omega Jericho match is kind of forgotten now because it wasn't on TV. It was on pay-per-view back in May.
It's also forgotten because it's the fourth time they've wrestled.
Right, but I'm saying it's so forgotten. Nobody actually remembers that match or remembers that when that happened. How Jericho got the belt. We just know he's the champion. That's it. So.
Oh no, I'm not. All I'm saying is that Jericho beating Adam Page was the right decision.
Yes.
But Jericho should have never have fought Omega for the number one contender.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Jericho should have fought somebody else or have somebody jump Kenny and it ended up being Cody steps in or something. There's 13 other people that it could have been, and we still could have gotten the chase from Kenny Omega and let him go out there and prove that he is, without a shadow of a doubt, the top 5, if not the best professional wrestler in the industry.
Right.
But we're not getting top 5 Kenny Omega. We're getting Road to Wrestling Dontaku 8-man tag Kenny Omega.
Right. I'm not. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
But to give them credit, I do feel like this is one of those things that they are trying to course correct now, and that's why Kenny isn't anywhere near the title picture. They're clearly putting him towards a feud with Hangman Page, and I feel like they're trying now, but they're working themselves out of a hole that they spent 6 months burying themselves in for no good reason.
That's a good point.
Who's going to be the heel in that feud?
Oh, Page.
Yeah,
Page.
Probably.
Yeah, easily. And you already see the seeds being planted now too. I just want to care about Omega. There's all this hype before AEW started about Kenny Omega. You guys sell me on Kenny Omega for fucking months, and then I see him on TV, and obviously he's phenomenal in the ring. There's no doubt about that. But I just don't really care as much. It's okay, cool. I care about Moxley or MJF, or of course Jericho. And guys in the inner circle and whatnot. But Kenny Omega is I'm being sold as bad as good, and he's really good. But what do you mean stop?
How do you care about fucking people in the inner circle? There's one person. I'm just saying.
I care about the faction.
There's one person worth meaning.
No. I like the faction in general. I like dude. If you know me, you know I love factions. Period.
But this is a good question for me though now for you because you're right. It's an interesting point of view as someone who is new to Kenny Omega through AEW. Do you feel he lacks in character? I mean, he's not like we've seen him cut promos on TV.
And that too, much. Also. I just don't find him his in-ring work is phenomenal. Top of the game, top in the company. I just don't find him interesting. It
might be a lack of character. Right. Maybe that's something that they don't even realize is happening.
And that kind of matters, when you're on TV. You have to, I mean, MGF is great because his character. He's great in the ring too, but his character is off the chain. Jericho, same thing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, but again, I'm being sold this bag of goods. I'm like, okay, I want to care about you, but Give me something. And then the only thing that mattered he's done so far that matters is he lost to Moxley in the fucking the match on pay-per-view on Full Gear. That really didn't even count. So I mean that's all. Real quick too. Also, a couple things on my list quick before we run out of time. Women's division needs work, obviously. Like I said, I find the women's division a little bit like it's trending positive somewhat, but there's still a lot of work to be done. I haven't seen Rio on TV in over a month. You know, seriously, that's a problem.
I think she's back in Japan.
Yeah, obviously, that's what I think so also too. But I mean, they got to correct some of the stuff in the women's division. Other than that, man, I mean, I think they're doing okay. I mean, and the Dark Order's got to. I mean, come on, the Dark Order's got to go.
Yeah, I agree with you on. So I actually really like the women's division. I think that they're building a really good division. I like a lot of the newer women that they've introduced in the last
Chris
couple of
Statlander's
weeks.
been great, too. Chris Statlander's been the one I really enjoy the most.
Yeah. No. I think that she's got superstar written all over her. I kind of like Big Swole also, name aside.
Name aside.
And listen, first of all, Big Swole was MVP for 3 seasons in the WNBA, and she deserves all of the respect. Okay. She single-handedly won the female World Cup in soccer this year. So
I also heard that she won like all 4 fucking tennis titles too.
Yes, I mean, listen, like Serena, Venus, Big Swole. Like that's just where we're at.
Go, baby.
No, but like actually, I like the women's division where it's going. I think the biggest problem with the women's division has been that the champion has been MIA for months.
Oh, and
the thing is, this is the kind of thing where fans like to crap on the WWE because Brock Lesnar is never around. But at least Brock Lesnar is a huge name that he's not around, but his presence is kind of still around.
Of course it is.
You can't say that about the women's champion in AEW, whose name I honestly struggle to remember.
Rio.
If she had a more complicated name, would you remember it?
Like
yes.
Giannis Antetokounmpo? Like that? No, it's good.
Right.
As for your comment on the Dark Order, I don't know if the Dark Order necessarily needs to go away. But I think the Dark Order needs to, the minions or the disciples or whatever you want to call them, they need to stop bringing in local talent and putting them under the mask without actually chest running these people, because at the end of the day, that's the biggest thing that we remember from the show is the really terrible punches that were being thrown at Dustin Rhodes. But at the end of the day, the gimmick itself is actually entertaining.
So bad. So
them trying to basically form a cult, and hey, you should love the Dark Order. They're going to be a faction.
No, I like the idea of Dark Order. The way it's being presented is horrible. At least in the ring. In other words, I love the vignettes. I disagree. The vignettes been great. I love the vignettes. The build-ups,
honestly,
awesome.
I'm kind of over all of the goth story characters that they're trying to do. Other than Darby Allin, because he actually feels genuine with it, it just is his personality. But every time Brandy Rose and Awesome Kong come out, it's it's honestly Awesome Kong. Awesome Kong is one of the best female wrestlers of the last 20 years. She should be adding so much value to their women's division, and instead, I kind of want to change the channel when she comes on TV, and that's because their gimmick is not working.
She also can't have long matches. She's she can't have long matches anymore. She she's super super messed up.
Really?
Yeah, they're lucky if they can get an 8-minute match out of her. Her knees and back are so shot.
That's I mean, but then in that case, she should just be someone's corner person.
By the way, also
not Randy, because let's not do that. By the way,
also real quick on women's division, coming to AEW months ago before this started, we was told about being the top dog to be Britt Baker. She's been disappointment so far. Hate to break it to you.
I disagree.
Yeah,
you disagree with that? Why, Michael?
I don't think she's been a disappointment. I mean, I think she's done what she's needed to do. She's gotten over people. She's gotten half-bitten stars that they're putting in front of her to see if they can get her over to a national spotlight. I mean, let's be real here. yes, Chris Statlander had a really great match, but she had a really good dancing partner. If that match is against Emi Sakura or Bea Priestley or anybody like that, that match isn't as good as it was last week.
But honestly, I think this again fits into the Kenny Omega argument.
Mm-hmm.
I
Britt
think
Baker is the Kenny Omega of the women's
she
division.
is. She is though. We went like exactly like you just said. We went into the company being told Britt Baker is basically the best female out there. She's going to be the star of the show. Yada yada yada. And all she's done is put other people over, which is great. But honestly, for me, I can speak to this one personally because I couldn't have told you who Britt Baker was before AEW started. So I am one of those people. Yeah, I went in being told she's the best. She's the best. Now, a couple of months into it, I like Starlander, whatever the hell her name is.
Statlander.
Right.
Star Wars Land.
Yeah, exactly.
The alien.
Sky Taylor.
A little weird, though. But...
I'm a big fan of hers, and they've put her over in my mind to the point where I should be a big fan of hers. They haven't done that with Britt Baker. I agree with you completely on that.
Mike, where are we at the clock?
5 seconds.
All right.
Before we move on, I want one of your guys. I want your guys' opinion on this. I saw this in a group page that I'm on. Somebody said Dustin Rhodes deserves a run with the AEW title. I agreed with it, and I had a mindset on how I thought they could get there.
How?
Jericho loses the belt to who did I have listed? Moxley.
Okay.
Moxley loses the title to MJF.
So I better you
Okay.
know it.
Dustin beats MJF, and in the process, Cody can then challenge for the title because it's going to be career and stipulation versus title between Dustin and MJF. Dustin wins. Cody beats Dustin to win the title as a heel.
Wow.
I mean, it's all
one.
It's all doable. I'm not going to say no. I don't know that I
2020. There's a 2020 grab for the title next year. All planned out.
I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those where it's I feel like Dustin, even if his title reign is a month, he's never been the world champion.
Give him some rub. Yeah, give him some rub. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Give some rub. Oh, by the way, one of the last things I want to say about AEW also, and I forgot now. I was going to say that. I just forgot. Fuck.
And they call him the natural as can be.
All right. Joe, bring your topic, man. I'll remember it in a little bit. Oh, yeah, here it was. They Lewis when Mike said a couple weeks ago on the show, we need a second belt in the company ASAP. Let's go. Joe, bring your next topic.
All right. Well, the topic that I'm going to bring in, we were just talking about women's wrestlers in AEW, but we're going to now switch over to WWE. Just switch the focus ever so slightly. So, my opinion, if you've been paying attention to WWE for the last 2 years, definitely ramped up in this past year. They've been doing a whole lot to build up their women's division. They've been building up a lot of female wrestlers. There's a lot of talent in their company now between SmackDown, Raw, NXT UK. There's a lot of talent there. I think they're doing an amazing job. I think in a lot of ways they're almost doing it from scratch, and they deserve a ton of credit. Here's the thing, though. I think that they're spending way more time building up women than they are building up men at this point. And I think that it's going to lead to some place that's going to be kind of interesting in the next 5 years or so. And I just kind of want to get your opinions on it, you guys, our inner circle, if you will.
Oh, God.
It's okay. You're Sammy Guevara.
No, I'm Jack Swagger. What do you mean?
Oh my God! Well,
you're
fine.
Sammy
I'll be
Guevara.
Sammy. I'm fine with that.
Exactly. I know you are. That's why I was wondering why you're giving it to me. I thought you would have taken that.
I just felt like he was the win. I was trying to give you the win.
No, I'm Jake Hager. I just fucking sit there and stare at the camera really intensely, and then get up and walk
Oh
away.
my God. Can Carol just be Pride and Prejudice or whatever the hell their name is? Can she just hit people with slippers and
Yes.
You know she got the vapor rub.
Oh hell yeah! Ship it. Let's go.
No,
okay,
but
back to the topic.
I have found that interesting. Me personally, and I think I've even said it on this show. I know I've at least said it to you guys. I could see about 3 or 4 different women being built up right now who could easily, in the next 2 or 3 years, main event WrestleMania. I don't know that I feel the same way about new guys that are being built up right now. And I think that's a very telling thing. I think that's a very interesting place that WWE is in. Because, like, look, you know, I know I'm not alone in this, but I've been watching some, like, old WWE pay-per-views from, like, the beginning of the decade, from 2010. You know, if you look back at Royal Rumble 2010, the women were in a 30-second match that basically involved making fun of how fat Mickie James was, which, you know, in real-life terms, she's not. But that was it. That was the extent of women's wrestling in WWE 10 years ago. And now we're at the point where this year, you know, they've regularly main evented these big shows. You know, I mean, honestly, tell me who got put over more Survivor Series weekend than Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler. There's not a single guy on that roster.
Keith Lee,
yeah.
Not to the same level. Look, on Survivor Series, on the actual show, Rhea Ripley won the women's match that included a plethora of female stars, and Shayna Baszler won the main event. Keith Lee didn't even win his match.
You have a point there. Yeah,
he looked great, but he didn't get put over to be a main eventer.
Let's backtrack.
Okay.
Let's talk about the whole weekend. The most over guy at Wargames was Keith Lee.
Yes.
He had the best spot. He pinned the architect, the guy, Mr. Money in the Bank, the leader of Raw. He took out Seth Rollins.
Okay.
Shayna Baszler didn't even get the spotlight to end the show. It was Becky Lynch jumping.
Which I hated it. To this day, I still hate that.
But at the end of the day, while yes, I agree that the two of them got the rocket ship strapped to their back and absolutely got over as much as anybody else. To say they got over immensely more than Keith Lee, I would have to say that is incorrect. Now, did they get over more than Keith Lee? Possibly, and I'm not going to say that that's not fair and or the option of hand. But to say that it's leaps and bounds, I would say that you're wrong.
So what guys do you... Okay, let's put it like this, okay? WrestleMania the next 3 years.
Okay.
What guys that have never main evented a WrestleMania before do you think realistically could main event, last match, get in there versus girls?
Adam Cole?
Are we talking about just NXT, or are we talking about the entire...
In the entire company, anyone who's never main evented a WrestleMania before.
I can see Adam Cole doing it in 2 years.
I don't see it, and maybe it's just because Adam Cole doesn't do as much for me as everyone thinks he should.
Adam Cole, baby. Come on now.
I could sort of see Keith Lee.
Keith Lee, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Shinsuke you think Shinsuke can still get main event now?
Yes.
Wow. I don't see it.
I do.
I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. I love Shinsuke Nakamura. One of my favorites, but...
In the last match at a WrestleMania.
Yes.
I don't know. Against who?
Really?
Yes. If they do it the right way, Shinsuke can be the guy again. But he has to go and he has to fucking stop. If Sammy's going to be his mouthpiece, then Nakamura needs to turn back into Shinsuke Nakamura, the badass. He needs to go out there and start fucking kicking people's faces off and everything else. He's got the Intercontinental title for a reason.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, Nakamura could do it. I think Keith Lee could do it. I could see Walter. I could see Pete Dunne. I could see...
Adam Cole, no?
I mean, okay, here's the problem. Everybody wants to make Adam Cole the flavor of the week because NXT is now live.
Yeah.
If you would have sat here and we had this podcast a year ago, I would have sold you the moon that Adam Cole would main event a WrestleMania against Daniel Bryan. Now, it's the trendy pick. Everybody can see it. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, but it's Adam Cole should main event a WrestleMania the way they're building him, the way they've built him. If he doesn't, it's more of a disappointment. He's got the keys to the Ferrari. Is he going to wreck it into a retaining wall, or is he just going to keep the damn thing on the straightaway?
You look at it more as where he is now versus where he was before, and you're trying to talk about guys who are not quite there yet, but could have potential to be at that point.
Who can they build to take that spot? Adam Cole's been built to already have that spot. Do you see a world where Damian Priest is closing out of WrestleMania?
No.
Do you see a spot where Killian Dane is closing out of WrestleMania? No. Do you see a spot where the Forgotten Sons are in a meaningful match at WrestleMania? No,
I can see maybe Ciampa be the only guy I would consider, and that's it.
But see,
here's the thing: Ciampa, Gargano. Here you go. Here's a name that everyone forgets hasn't closed at WrestleMania. Finn.
I was going to say that. Finn Balor.
But see, here's what I think is interesting, and this is what I'm saying to me, like, within the point that I'm sort of trying to make. This upcoming WrestleMania, the one that's coming a couple of months, right? You could argue that Adam Cole right now and Shayna Baszler are probably positioned about the same in terms of how they've been built up over the last year, right? Would you agree with that?
Okay. I would agree with that.
Okay. I think that, in my opinion, it's far more likely that Shayna Baszler's in the main event of WrestleMania this year than Adam Cole is.
Strongly disagree.
Really?
They closed with a women's match last year.
I think they're going to do it again this year. I think it's going to be Shayna and Becky.
Well, they closed with the women's match in Survivor Series.
Seem to be doing.
But the Survivor Series, at TLC rather.
But on last week's show, both of you guys said that Becky's in-ring work has been terrible. Why are you going to finish with a singles match? I'm not saying that I'm a fan of it, but that's what my point is, though. It feels like WWE is very focused on, let's get the women out there, let's make the women the big thing, and it's almost at the sacrifice of making the men the big thing, because, I don't think Adam Cole's in the main event of WrestleMania this year, but I think Shayna might be. If that show does not close with Bray Wyatt, they're wrong.
Interesting.
If the Fiend is still the WWE champion and that show does not close with the most over act in that company, they're wrong, because it closed last year with the most over act in the industry in the man Becky Lynch.
Well, I'll say this much though.
If that show does not end with Bray Wyatt, they're wrong.
I'll say this much real quick. The last two reviews I've had this year, Survivor Series last month, TLC last week, women closed it out.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing. Let's look at it. What was the title match at TLC? There wasn't one.
Well,
Brock Lesnar gone. Fiend in a non-title match.
Yeah, you're right.
There was no world title being defended. There was no feud built in a week and a half for the title. You put together Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair to take on the Kabuki Warriors in a TLC match that was a fucking car crash.
Yeah.
Both Kyrie and Charlotte got hurt in that match. Why? So that the women could close out the show. It was a fucking car crash.
No, the result
should have closed the show.
Oh no, we all agree on the result. We all agree on the result.
It should have closed the show.
This the action, one thing else.
There wasn't. They shouldn't have even had TLC. So there was nothing worthwhile on that show.
I agree.
It was a qualified house show with a ladder match to close it.
That I agree on. Yeah.
So my question to both of you guys now is: let's play out that things go the way I think they're going to go this year. Let's say that Adam Cole wins the Royal Rumble. Let's say that Shayna wins the female Royal Rumble.
Dream wins the Royal Rumble.
Okay, but I'm using Adam Cole for my example.
He's the NXT champion.
Yeah, I know. We're going to have him lose the title the night before somehow, and then he wins the Rumble, okay? Just follow me here, okay?
All right, I'm listening.
All right. So Adam Cole gets to be in a world title match at WrestleMania. Shayna Baszler gets to be in the title match at WrestleMania, right? Mm-hmm. They decide to end it with the Shayna title match. Do you think they've now killed Adam Cole's potential as a main event guy?
No.
Okay.
As long as you keep it organized, don't put. You expose Adam Cole a little bit to the main roster, the quote unquote main roster in November. Now he's back to NXT again.
Right.
You're building some. You can do little teases here and there and kind of not oversell too much.
But does it kill him not being in the main event if he's getting the world title shot?
No, because it has to mean something. I mean, there has to be a reason to put Adam Cole in that spot anyway.
All right, let's just chop this up with the steak knife. How long is WrestleMania?
10 hours.
Okay.
That's it? I thought it was like 15 to 16. Sorry.
Okay, it's 10 hours. Do you think Edge felt any worse that he was the leadoff match at the first WrestleMania we ever went to, where he won the World Heavyweight title?
No.
Did that discredit Edge any?
Fair. Okay. I see your point.
Because here's the thing. As long as the marketing and the build-up to said match is worth it, it doesn't matter if it happens in hour 1, hour 3, hour 5, or hour 7. At the end of the day, if the match is important, you have to station the matches in spots. You make that the best match of the first hour. And you come back and you make the WWE title match the best of the second hour.
Mike
and
is
then you
right.
finish with the women's match if you want.
Mike, you're right.
You got to prioritize the matches themselves and not worry about where they're located on a piece of paper that doesn't matter.
Right, Mike, you're right. Let me tell you why Mike is right there for a second. I didn't even watch WrestleMania 35 this year in the moment. I watched it 2 months after I got back to this stuff.
Okay.
And yet the moments were separated. For example, the 3 big moments of the night. Obviously, the women's
Kofi winning the title.
Well, right. The women's match number 1 being the big main event at the end of the night. Kofi with the title. That was on hour 2, hour 3 of the night, maybe hour 6. And then Seth, the fucking kickoff of the entire main show was Seth and Brock. And Seth winning the match.
You're right. No, I guess I don't know. Just for me, sometimes I feel like they're trying so hard to get the women over that it feels like,
and they are.
Well, the other issue is we live in a world where all 3 of us were watching wrestling in the 90s, and if you weren't in the main event, you weren't anything.
True.
The way it is,
especially in WWE,
and the way it is now is it does not matter if you go on first, last. As long as you go out there and you put on a great match and the match is built the way it needs to, the location of it really doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
You think that's true for the women's matches too?
Anything.
I will wholeheartedly tell you that if they opened the show with Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler, those 2 women are going to go out there and then they're going to walk back through that curtain and they're going to tell every person on the roster, top that.
And I got to be honest with you also. To piggyback on Mike was saying there real quick, because of Mania being so long, and maybe you guys pick on this more than I can because you guys actually attended the fucking show every year. God damn it. But there's actually more value to being on an earlier match because the crowd's still into it.
Oh, I mean, I won't disagree with that. I've taken full-on naps at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I could sleep anywhere, and honestly, you give me a 7-hour show, I'm taking a nap at some point, whether I like it or not.
That's crazy.
And to be honest with you, there have been matches that we could have slept through.
Yeah.
It
isn't structured the same way. I was just watching Mania 5 yesterday. It isn't the same. The structure isn't the same anymore. It's not like the WWF was built around a guy anymore. Like the WWF was built around back in the 80s. It was built around Hogan and Savage and the Warrior, 3 or 4 guys. Now you have potentially like 10, 11, 12 people, male and female, that you're building around. Not just one guy anymore. There's no one guy on Raw, even on Raw and SmackDown. Even when you divide it to the brands, there isn't really one guy. Yeah, you say Roman Reigns is the main guy on SmackDown, but there's really 4 or 5 guys you can build around the brand. So the way that wrestling is structured today is different than it was when we were growing up.
It's interesting. I didn't thought of it that way.
So.
It's absolutely different.
Was that the clock?
Yep, that was the clock.
Oh.
All right.
Did it.
Last one. Bernier, take us home.
All right. My topic is one that, last week we talked about underrated gimmicks from the 1990s. And by the way, Craig, our fellow friend and fat ass of mine, mentioned a gimmick that we didn't mention that I'm highly upset at all of us, including myself, that we did not mention. How did nobody bring up Repo Man?
I mean,
he was whatever to me. I wasn't a fan.
I was going to, but I'm still sore about him stealing Randy Savage's hat. So
yeah, exactly. Don't touch the hat.
That guy.
Don't touch the hat. Go ahead.
All right. So my topic this week, and keeping the nature of loving things from the past and present and future, I guess, I am going to want to discuss the top 5 gimmick matches. Now, this could be a stipulation or a match type. And I think, and I said this before the show went live, and I'll say it again, Anyone that disagrees with my number one is wrong, and it's okay to be wrong, but just know that you're wrong.
Well, it's my number
And
one too.
the greatest gimmick stipulation match is Wargames.
I would disagree. Mine's number one also too. And to be honest, it was weird, Mike. Real quick, is that it wasn't until watching Wargames with at Takeover that reminded me how much I loved it. You know what I'm saying? It had been years since I watched a Wargames format. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. I forgot how good this fucking format really is. So yeah, I agree with 100%.
Big fan of Wargames, so
yes.
I mean, I love Wargames.
It needs to be, honestly, it needs to be back as its own pay-per-view.
Well,
I mean, it
technically is.
It technically is with Takeover. The last three have been Wargames.
Yeah.
So it technically has its own. And I will tell you this much: seeing Wargames live in person was something that I never thought I was going to be able to do.
Same.
So, like, to see that is awesome. The only thing that I don't like that WWE does is they leave the top off so that they can jump off the cage. I love whenever the roof was on, so it was like a entrapped, like, actual, like, cage. But I get it. They're trying to get the big pop spot, but it's just. You have two teams feuding with each other. You have them go in there. It settles the score until the next pay-per-view whenever WCW booked them in the same match.
Did you prefer when you also only could win by submit or surrender? Or
Yes.
do you like now that there's pins and stuff?
No, I'm not. I'm an originalist.
Okay.
I get it. Like, after the big spot, a lot of the guys are gonna like, oh, just cover him because like that's
right.
the way wrestling kind of is. But yeah, I've always been a guy that I feel like it should be submit or surrender.
Yeah. No, you're like me. I get angry when I see like flavored Oreos. It's like you just need the original ones. Like, what are you doing?
Amen.
Yeah. Welcome to the Christmas version where we have peppermint bark fucking Oreos.
I hate
that.
No,
just give me the generic ones, guys.
The only acceptable Oreos are regular and double penetration Oreos. Other than that,
the what? Double stuff, right?
Double stuff, yes.
Right.
Other than that, you don't need any other Oreos.
For the record, I do like the golden ones, the cream crackers with the icing. I'm saying I like those. They're acceptable to me because I like that kind of cookie. But yeah, if we're talking about the original black cookie, white frosting, those are the only Oreos that are acceptable. The peanut butter ones, why?
Right.
It just makes me want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Why?
It's like taking the roof off of the Wargames.
I agree.
Trash. All right, back to the topic. Number 2, I have always been a fan of these matches. What they call in Mexico the Lucha de Apprentice, the mask or hair versus hair matches.
Yes.
Big fan of those. Big fan. I have also been a giant fan. And I guess I'm gonna say I guess a giant fan isn't the right way to describe it. But I've always enjoyed those like random like holiday brawls that they have on Raw. Like the like the Christmas on 34th Street brawl.
Yes.
It's like the one that gets hit in the head with a ham.
The Massacre on 34th Street.
Yes. Ship it. Let's go. I am all in. See, now there's a match that I want your guys' opinion on that I don't like. So I think this is the time to talk about. We're talking about gimmick matches. How do you guys feel about scaffold matches?
I hate them. I hate them with a passion. To me, they are the dumbest thing. Oh my god!
What are those again? The scaffold matches. What again? That's the.
It's like that's like oh my! If you go back to like the '80s and like the Road Warriors and the Midnight Express had a bunch of them, where like it's literally like you climb up a scaffold that's like a really thin thing. I don't know, like
it's
platform.
like it's like two tables like taped together.
Across the ring, and the goal is to knock both your opponents off of it into the ring, and that's it. There's no psychology. There's no wrestling. There's no moves. You're literally just watching people. Like I live in Manhattan. I can go down the street and watch people stand above a scaffold and wait to see whether or not one of them falls. I don't need to pay $80 and watch wrestlers do it.
Interesting.
I hate those matches. Oh.
What else do you have, Mikey?
I'm glad I touched a nerve with Joe Lopez there. he went full like nuclear like.
I went full like Cookie Puss. You brought Cookie Puss up.
Yo, Joe got big mad on that one.
I did. My voice got like
higher pitched. Oh my god!
That's when you know I'm angry.
Higher pitched, anger it is.
One of the two.
Now, I enjoyed this match whenever it first came out. I don't enjoy them anymore because I don't think it's the same. I think Joe could probably figure out where I'm going here.
Hell in a Cell?
Correct.
I was going to say that too, yeah.
I don't feel like it's Hell in a Cell anymore. I feel like it's Playground Day at the amusement park.
You know, I think one of the problems with a lot of these matches, and Hell in a Cell really fits it, is nowadays there's like a certain time where there has to be a Hell in a Cell match. And so like we got to find like, you know, whatever feud is going on is going to end up working its way into there for no good reason other than we need a Hell in a Cell match. I feel like they need to get rid of that pay-per-view and they need to bring back something else. What like break out the Hell in a Cell once a year, but make it in a feud where it's really like, you know, like did we need Seth Rollins and The Fiend in Hell in a Cell this year? No. Like they almost killed The Fiend's entire gimmick because they had to have a Hell in a Cell match. Yeah, I'm out. What month is that pay-per-view in?
October.
Okay, so that means we can bring back Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I don't understand the need to have. Like, look, you have your big four, and do it back in the past. You have your quote unquote in your house. Just name it a random name. That's all.
I mean, that's what they're technically doing. It's the only pay-per-view that's really gimmicked is Elimination Chamber, which I don't hate because it's for the title, it's the lead into WrestleMania. Right. So they have to go through the Elimination Chamber to get there. So, like, I don't hate that.
It's like that falls in with the same as, like, the Royal Rumble.
Correct. It's that TLC, which we just had, which I don't hate it, but give me back Unforgiven.
TLC doesn't bother me, and ladder matches in general don't bother me, because to me, that should, like, you can always have an excuse to be like, okay, well, now you're going to have a ladder match. Like, it doesn't have to be... Like, to me, Hell in a Cell should be reserved for, like, we hate each other, blood feud, not like...
It's Wargames. It's the singles Wargames.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is. So it's like, make that where it means something. Make that Four Horsemen versus Legion of Doom and all those old school 80s guys. Like, that's what the Hell in a Cell was supposed to be. It's not like that anymore, especially because the fact of nobody bleeds.
Right.
You can't go on top of it really anymore. Shane's the last one that went on top of it.
Right.
Wait, you can't go on top of it anymore.
None of the guys are breaking out of the cell and going to the top anymore.
Because they don't want to, or because they're told not to? I mean,
I don't think WWE wants them taking any unnecessary chances.
Except by his son, Shane. I don't want them taking those chances.
You don't need to. I don't know. I guess you really can't top the early ones with Taker and Shawn. The first one, of course, and then even ones that happen after that.
You're never topping that. You're never topping Foley and Undertaker from King of the Ring.
Right.
You're never topping. There was one other one that. Who was it?
Jericho and Triple H have an unloved one.
Underrated. They have an underrated one.
Underrated.
Oh, wasn't it Undertaker Batista? Did they ever have one?
Undertaker Edge, maybe?
Yeah, that one was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Oh, it was really good.
This is part of the problem, though, right? Like, they all kind of blend together after, like, the first two.
Oh, because the first two went out of their way to become memorable. But the other thing is there was a build to those.
Right, exactly.
There was a reason for those matches to occur. Now it's happening, like you said, because it's October.
Right. Like, honestly, like in 100% kayfabe terms, like, if I want them now to do a skit some month where, like R-Truth is walking around trying to be everyone's best friend because it's October and he doesn't want to end up in a Hell in a Cell match. Like,
I'm in.
Like, right?
That'd be a great gimmick.
Because apparently, all you have to do is have someone not really like you very much, and you might end up in a Hell in a Cell match in October.
It's factual. It could be as bad as being in a Punjabi prison match.
Oh dear God!
How about the kennel from
Do you know
hell?
what that is? Wait, do you know what a Punjabi prison match is? First,
No.
Oh my God!
No.
you have to send them a link. You have to find the link.
All right, I'll work on it after the show.
Yeah, you have to.
It is probably the second worst gimmick match of all time.
Like for real.
Well,
Like,
here are my 5 real quick. Did your 5 ready?
Yeah.
Okay. My 5, I guess in somewhat order. Wargames on 1. I totally agree with you on that one. 2, the Royal Rumble. Of course, I love the Royal Rumble. 3, Hell in a Cell. 4, I actually love Battle Royals. Everybody in 20 men in there already, and just kick each other's ass. And in 5, it will surprise you guys here. You remember the old blindfold match between Jake Roberts and Rick Martel?
Hell yeah.
7? Love that one.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Craig mentioned that one when I was talking to him about the topic earlier.
Yeah, that was so much.
That
Big
gimmick
fan
was
of it.
fun. They worked that really well.
That was Jake's last babyface run before he would turn heel again later that year.
But you see, and that's the kind of gimmick though, where like it's not going to be every July, and it's just like time for a blindfold match.
It's a random match. Still, it's great.
Right.
Most underrated gimmick match of all time: Judy Bagwell in a forklift match.
Oh, dear God.
Which one was that one?
WCW in the middle of a feud between.
Judy Bagwell, right?
So yeah,
Judy
Bagwell in a forklift match.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was a Russo days, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was fucking great too.
Yeah,
it's almost as good as a flag match.
Speaking of Russo, he was on Jericho's podcast a couple days ago.
Of course he was.
Bro.
Bro, I don't care, bro.
Yeah, bro. Bro.
All right, Joe. You have any that you'd like to discuss?
I can do top 5. I mean, I'll put Wargames at number 1. I'll give you that guy. We can go across the board with that. But I do love Wargames. Honestly, I've said it in the past. I grew up watching WWF. I wasn't the biggest NWA or WCW guy as a kid, but I also always loved gimmick matches and stuff like that. So stuff like Wargames would get my attention. Like every September when they would do it, or like in the 90s, that's kind of when it fell into. Like that would always be something to get me to tune in. I am actually a big fan of Iron Man matches.
I talked about that with Craig. I like Iron Man matches too.
I'm a fan of Iron Man matches. I could do a half hour versus an hour. I don't think that you always need 60 minutes, but I think it's fun to see where one pin doesn't end the match, and you can build a lot of drama with that. And I don't know. There's a lot of fun that could be had with that. I also would throw like 2 out of 3 falls matches into the same category, because I think that the same thing. I think we were getting an overabundance of them like earlier this year on WWE TV, and I'm glad that stopped. But right, but like anything, like you don't need to do it every single week, but I think if you do it every once in a while, it can be really fun. So I'm a fan of those. Just plain old ladder matches, though, man. Like that's got to be on my list. Again, that's the kind of thing that I feel like that's not the kind of match where, like, that's the kind of match that's easy to break out at any given time. I don't think that you need 2 people that absolutely hate each other's guts in order to have a ladder match. I think that, just, hey, we have a title match and here's a different way of having this title match. That works, because as much as you're going to beat the crap out of each other with the ladder, that's not necessarily the goal. The goal is actually to use the ladder to get the title. As much as I love the first Razor and HBK ladder match, because it's obviously a classic, if you watch their second one that they had at that SummerSlam, like a year later, where there's a lot more thought into trying to get the title, I mean, it's interesting. It's really well done, and there's a lot you can do with a ladder match, and I don't think that needs to be a blood feud. You can fit it more than you can like Hell in a Cell or something like that. So, and I think I have one more spot. And I'm obviously, you know what? I'm gonna go really old school. I don't even know if this counts entirely as a gimmick match. It's just like a whole ass gimmick show. But no. I'm putting it out there. Battle Bowl, Lethal Lottery.
It's the same thing as Slam. Yeah, that's what I meant. The Lethal Lottery.
Lethal Lottery. Yeah, give me that. The couple of times I saw that in WCW when I was a kid, I love that. I really sort of wish that like NXT would run with that. Like if maybe the Dusty Rhodes Classic.
That should be their Dusty Rhodes Classic. Should be
right.
Random teams.
I feel like you could have a lot of fun with that instead of giving us like Undisputed Era, like trying to work their way through a whole bunch of like non-existent teams,
meaningless.
Right. Like give me Kyle O'Reilly ending up on a team with Velveteen Dream. You know what I mean? Like give me Bobby Fish ending up on a team with Keith Lee. You know, like I think that could be a lot of fun.
And the thing is you could do it where like they win the Dusty Rhodes Classic and then they face each other the next week to become the number one contender for the world title.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly. Oh, I like that.
Different.
I like that a lot.
Because at this point, if you're Kyle O'Reilly and you're paired up with Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole isn't the world champion, it's like, oh, we need to get the title back. So the two of them need to work together instead of turning on each other so that they actually get to the finals.
And you can develop feuds on that format too. You know?
Yeah, you could have Angel Garza and Leo Rush team together after they feuded for the last like 4 weeks.
Yeah. That was half the fun of Battle Bowl when you watched that. It was like, oh my god, Sting and Ric Flair are tag teams.
Yeah,
it's been years. It's been what, since the 90s we had the Battle Bowl last one.
There may have been one in the 90s,
early 90s, definitely 80s thing. I know that.
I'll look it up.
So
I'll let you guys know what the last one was.
How's that?
All right, so we have hit the hard stop on my lovely gimmick topic.
Oh, well, we're there. Well, that's it for this
week.
We
hit those hard stops this week. I'm proud of us.
Yeah, very proud of us.
We did.
We went to the topics and debated it all. Great show today.
I'm gonna make the formal announcement that my topic for next week's show, so that everyone's ready for it.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Is going to be the decade rankings. I guess the best way to put it. Joe brought this up to me privately because you didn't watch a lot in the time frame. And you didn't watch a lot of other wrestling promotions. So, I don't know. Joe, do you want to do, including Japan and Ring of Honor and Impact and all them, or do you just want to stick to WWE?
It's still up to you.
Okay. I'll let you guys know about that specifically probably tomorrow because I have to actually get some sleep because I'm about to die.
Okay, real quick. MVPs of the week, and then we're done.
Oh, I was going to say that the thing that we're going to rank were men, women, tag teams, feud, and matches. And then we'll determine if we're doing other shows or if we're just doing WWE. Okay, MVPs. You guys go first. I'm finishing.
Okay, mine. I'll go quick. Mine, Seth Rollins. Love this heel turn. Love it. I'm about to finish Raw from this week. And just him jumping Rey Mysterio, kind of being nice to him and then going in the ring and stomping him like that. That yes. This is... a couple months ago, I was saying how much the Seth Rollins thing was kind of getting stale, and now this new wearing the black leather jacket, all black with the AOP and all that. Love this heel turn, is great, and he has the title match against U.S. title match against Ray next week. So tomorrow, should I say? So but Seth Rollins is my MVP this week. He's back in my good races again.
I can see that.
Joseph.
I guess I have to go with Rhea Ripley, right? I mean, she had a good moment this week.
I mean, if you weren't, I was.
Yeah.
I have to.
All right. My MVP is he made his return to NXT television on Wednesday night. It is Johnny Wrestling. It is Johnny Gargano. I'm hoping for a really good feud with Finn. I'm hoping that Gargano's cleared because I think that was supposed to be the matchup at Wargames. So I'm kind of excited to see where they go with this. So my MVP is Johnny Gargano.
Johnny Takeover.
Johnny NXT.
That's right. All right, fellas. Well, we'll talk. We'll have another show last show of the year next week, next Sunday. My
topic might need more than 15 minutes.
Okay, we'll plan it out. We'll plan it out probably. I'm just saying. fellas, Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Merry Kwanzaa.
So listeners to this podcast too, Merry Christmas as well too. You can find Mike on Twitter, of course, at They Call Me Bern, and that's BERN, like Bernie Sanders. You can find Joe on Twitter at no.
Yeah.
And of course, me on Twitter.
How many H's are in that?
Like 18.
Yeah.
We're gonna need an exact count, Joe. Get to work.
I will.
I might do a fake Joe Lopez account just to be fucking stupid. Just to fucking
God.
Parody accounts. Let's do it.
Make a high pitched voices, gifts and shit. And of course, I'm on Twitter, of course, at EJ Christian 7. Till then, fellas, Merry Christmas again. Like I said, we'll be back next Sunday for our last show of the year. Alrighty?
I'm excited.
All right, guys.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.